Hello, welcome to the third in this tutorial series for Photogrammetry. This tutorial will be projecting our textures onto our model in Metashape, bring that into Substance Painter to finalize, and finally bring everything into Unreal to finalize the object. Return to the same file that we export our highpoly OBJ out. We're going to go up to File, Import, Import Model. Doing this, we're going to import our low poly OBJ that we've just exported from either Maya or Mesh, and we're going to replace this in the scene. We do this so that we can project our textures onto the actual object. In addition to bring it back into Metashape, we also do this so it can build our UVs for us. As you can see, we have the keep UV settings currently in mapping mode. If you did make your own UVs in Maya, you can use this, but for now we're going to turn to generic so that Metashape generates these for us. We also probably want to change our texture size. I want to change it to 2048, and then we're going to hit OK. Now, so you can see we've got our projected model. Those textures look pretty good, so we're going to go to File, Export, and Export Texture. And we're going to export this out as a JPEG. You can also do this as lossless file format such as PNG or TIFF. For this tutorial, we'll just keep this as default. And we can keep these settings the same. And that's done. We're going to go back up to Export, Export Model. Name this something different, and don't save over your low poly for now. And you see we keep these settings the same. We want to make sure we're exporting the text at the same file format. And once you hit that, just hit OK, and that will run it out. This is all we need in Metashape for, so now we can move on to Substance Painter. Start a new project on Unreal. We're going to make sure that our template is set to Unreal 4. This will just mean that the text will be exported out to the preset of Unreal 4. We're next going to make sure that our file is importing our low poly OBJ that we exported from Metashape. And then go down to the texture settings. We can add in extra normal maps or baked materials. And we're going to add the textures we also exported. This will mean that when we import everything, our text will be along with the model. So here we've got our model on the left, and our UVs that was created in Metashape on the right. We're first going to start by going up and deleting the current layer and adding a new fill layer. Go to the Properties tab. We're going to turn off all the other settings apart from color, and then we're going to look for the textures that we just imported. Setting that, we'll add in our textures to the model and put them onto the UVs. We're then going to bake our high poly model on by going to Bake Mesh Maps, finding the high poly model, and baking the mesh maps. Should take a few moments. As you see, it's going to bake the normal, the ambient occlusion, and the maps. As you can see, our high poly detail has been generated in, and it's also generated the maps down here. I'll show you what it looks like without the normal. And then without the AO. Once you're satisfied with the textures, you can go up to Export Textures, change the texture size to whatever you want. I'd recommend leaving it at 2048, and then hit Export. The benefit of using Substance Painter is it's a non-destructive software, which means you won't lose any of our data by changing the sizes of the textures themselves. Once you export everything, we'll be ready to move on to Unreal and finalize our model. To import your textures and mesh, simply go either up to the Import tab, or you can just drag and drop your options into the tray at the bottom. When you import your textures, I recommend creating these into material, as we will be applying this to our mesh once that's been imported. When you import your mesh, you notice you get the FBX options. If you have a skeleton for your mesh itself, you need to click onto the skeletal mesh option. Otherwise, you can keep these settings the same for now. Once the object is rendered, you can double click it and bring up this window. Here you want to add in your extra material slots for your normal map and then your occlusion and roughness. Once you've done that, just save that onto your asset. We can move on to putting it into the scene. What you do now is drag and drop the mesh into the scene itself, and you're done. Now you have an asset from Photogrammetry into Unreal. That is it for this tutorial series. If you have any questions, just post them down in the comments.